Welcome to New Life Live, the premier place to receive free advice from Christian psychologists and counselors for the mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual challenges you face. Since 1988, we've offered compassionate responses that combine God's truth with proven psychological principles to guide you toward healing. Our phone lines are open. Call us now at 1-800-229-3000.
Hello and welcome to New Life Live. I'm your host, Brian Perez. And wait, who's knocking? Someone's knocking. I don't know. Are we expecting anybody? I've already got clinical psychologist Dr. Alice Benton in the studio and licensed marriage and family therapist Marc Cameron. Come in. Oh, it's 2026. Oh. No, you're early. You're
Not
early.
yet.
Go back. Not yet. It is too soon. We've still got things to figure out for 2025, like your addiction issues, your marriage situation, your family problems. Call us. Do not take them into the new year. We're going to be here for 2 hours today at 1-800-229-3000. So do call in. Mark, what is on your mind to start us off?
So last Monday, December 22nd, I talked about learning to be an adult when we go home for the holidays. And today I want to talk about what it looks like to let go as a parent. Now, we all know the word adulthood, but not many of us have heard of the term selfhood. Now, selfhood is awareness and autonomy to be distinct from others while remaining connected. And so that's meant to happen progressively during childhood in a process called individuation. And that's learning to think, feel, and act separately from our family. So parents should support this, not just through limits and boundaries, but through offering freedom. So you might see this happen with a toddler who first wanders out of mom's sight into another room for just a few seconds. And then later on, a child will go to school for a whole day without mom and get to make certain decisions like what they eat for lunch at times. And eventually a child might do a sleepover or go away to summer camp for a week and then to college for a semester. And when that happens naturally, and with the support, eventually a child has liftoff into adulthood. But for many people, adulthood arrives without selfhood. And it's not necessarily because they have an angry, controlling parent, but oftentimes a parent is driven by fear that their child is going to make mistakes, that they're going to get hurt, that things won't turn out okay. Now, the problem is this: fear and love don't generally work well together in decision making. Often they oppose one another. Fear tends to produce control, but love can consider our fear and still create room for freedom. Now, Scripture gives us an interesting picture into Jesus's maturity into selfhood. Now, we're told very little about his childhood, but there's one story in Luke's Gospel where Jesus goes missing for a few days after his family visits Jerusalem for Passover. Now, there's many parallels to this because Jesus will eventually in sorts go missing again in a future visit for 3 days during Passover at Jerusalem, but that's between the cross and the resurrection. But his family can't find him. And when they do eventually find him, Jesus, it clearly asserts himself that, "Didn't you know I was in my Father's house?" Now, he wasn't being disrespectful, but in Jewish culture, a boy becomes a man at 13. Now, Jesus was 12, and so he didn't actually go missing. He separated intentionally, and it was an act of individuation, signaling that he was coming out of childhood. Later, when he did his first miracle, he called his mother woman, and that was to signal that he was no longer under her authority. And then when he was on the cross, he turned to Mary and said, "Behold your son," and he turned to John and said, "Behold your mother." He wasn't meaning that John was now going to be parented by Mary. He was passing on his responsibility for John to care for his mom when she aged. Now, here's a mindset shift that must happen. When our children grow up, they don't become adult children. They become adult sons and daughters. They're no longer under our authority, but they're peers with us, so that one day they can raise their own children who will individuate and be released in the same way. So letting go as a parent doesn't mean losing your son or daughter. It's actually fulfilling the mission. It means loving them well enough to let them become who God designed them to be.
Yeah.
And that's the true calling of parenting.
Yep. All right. Good words from Marc Cameron to start us off on today's New Life Live. And if you have a question that you can't ask anywhere else, we are live and ready to talk without judgment, just practical help. Call 1-800-229-3000. 1-800-229-3000. Sherry, you're up first. Stand by.
New Life Ministries has had an incredibly positive and heartfelt impact on my life
My walk with God continues to grow and strengthen every day because of all of your wonderful ministries, teaching, and love for all. I'm really a much better person because of everyone at New Life. I can't thank all of you enough. You've truly changed my life and my family.
Hello, this is Becky Brown, and as we end this year, you can be part of the impact that New Life will have on the lives of so many in the coming year. To give your tax-deductible gift and be part of life change, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to newlife.com. You can also text your gift, text NLM to 28950. That's 28950. Don't miss your opportunity to change a life forever. 1-800-NEW-LIFE, 1-800-NEWLIFE.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Which of our 12-week New Life online courses are you planning to join in January? We have 3 counselor-led courses starting on January 29th. Lose It for Life for building healthy habits. Healing as a choice for moving forward from emotional wounds, trauma, or disappointment. And Take Your Life Back, not letting the past control your present. You can get all the details about all the courses at newlife.com. Let's go to the phones now. Here is Sherry calling in from Atlanta, listening on the New Life app. Welcome, Sherry, to New Life Live.
Hello.
Hi. Thanks for calling us. What's going on?
I woke up not that long ago, several months, and I realized I was a covert narcissist by reading online stuff. My symptoms, and I never realized I was before, and had went to church, decades, and raised my kids in church and in Christian schools and everything, and now I don't know what to do. I wanted to. My family put me in a mental place for 5 days, and all I could do was get out of there. And I'm isolating, and I don't know what to do. I've repented of everything I can, and things keep coming up to my mind of stuff in my childhood and stuff after I had asked Jesus in my heart, but I had never had that assurance that he was, even though I knew it was the only way, and tried to follow him, and of course messed up a lot too, but I don't know what to do.
All right, Alice.
Oh, Sherry, it is so rare for anyone to call in and say, I discovered I'm a narcissist, because part of that line of being is really denial about the problem. So I just honor you that you are willing to take a look at yourself and even accept a very difficult label. You said your family put you in a place for 5 days, a psychiatric ward, I'm imagining. What happened that they decided you needed that level of care?
They knew that I threatened suicide.
Mm-hmm.
And you did everything you could to get out of the psychiatric ward?
Yes, I lied, everything, to get out. It was horrible, and it was horrible.
And as you're realizing you have a problematic personality style, what treatment are you accepting and open to now that you're out?
I have to do something. I tried a Christian therapist, but she couldn't believe me. I mean, it went several times, and she didn't seem to believe it, and I just thought, well, this isn't going to help me. And I went to several people in church, and you know, they seem to just pray, or you know, or give me a. It just didn't seem like it was.
So Sherry, what's
helpful.
what's the problem that's happening now, and what's your question for us?
Problem is now I love my family, and I don't know what to do. I'm isolating, so they're not very happy with me, and they're telling me to get over it, and I can't. I feel like we're reading all these things, doomed to hell.
So your family love you and care about you, and they want you around them. Is that right?
They want me to be like I was a few months ago.
Yeah. So they want you around them or around other people. They want you healthy. They want you to get better. They're not pushing you away and limiting themselves from you. But you want to isolate. Yeah. That's what I'm hearing. When you
I just don't want to hurt anybody, and
And when you got out of the psychiatric ward, Sherry, did they put you on any types of medications?
They put me on something I had been on for, you know, just a mild anxiety medicine.
Are you taking it?
Yeah. Yeah, I've been on it for a form of it for years.
Okay. And so you're following up with someone too. You've got a physician who you're following up with.
A psychiatrist, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like you're depressed to me, Sherry, and if you're not on an antidepressant, I wonder if that could be a big benefit for you. Have you shared what you're feeling right now and your symptoms with your psychiatrist?
I've only gone to her once, and I'm due to go back there, I think next week.
Okay,
but,
good.
It's Wellbutrin, and it's the lowest milligrams there is.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you got a loving family around you who care about you, and I think their care is legitimate here. I'm glad that you've got an appointment next week, and so maybe you can even try and move that up if you're really, really feeling bad here. But I do think that's probably going to be beneficial for you to maybe even increase your dosage of medication, but also depression, you know, that it creates a negative mindset, and it causes us to want to separate from others. And the hard thing about fighting depression is really kind of to lean into the opposite of what our mind is trying to steer us toward, to get into community, to get around others, to get that support. And I think that's often the best way to keep ourselves from hurting other people and from hurting ourselves, because when we're left with our own thoughts, we can tend to spiral and not be very objective. But when we get around others and we get that support and we get that care, we're more likely to be able to get good feedback and comfort.
Sherry, I think your realization you had that you say is a covert narcissist is perhaps that you have been maybe selfish, self-centered, self-focused, and you've realized that you have hurt people around you without intending to. And maybe there are many ways you have hurt people and you didn't realize it till recently. So I think you're overwhelmed by what you're realizing about yourself. And that leaves you uncertain of your salvation. It leaves you afraid of being around people because you don't trust yourself. I want you to consider that could be a worldly sorrow if you stay isolated and you don't do the ongoing work to change that. Or you could choose to let it be a godly sorrow. And the Lord wants us to feel godly sorrow when we realize, I've not been an easy person to be in relationship with. It's good to have sorrow for that, but sorrow that motivates us to change. And I'd caution you against being absolutely certain that you're a narcissist, because that's a complex diagnosis. We all have some form of selfishness and self-centeredness in us. And so I believe you have some of that. But a narcissist is a very high level of it, so much so that it's usually quite destructive in relationships. And it needs high-level guidance from a professional who understands it and knows how to go about the repair process with the people that have been in your life. So that one therapist didn't believe you. That's curious to me. I don't want you to stop with just that one therapist. Either go back to say, I don't feel like you believe me. How can we work this out? Or let us connect you with another therapist that knows how to deal with what you're describing here. And then one of the ways that we start to feel more reassurance of our salvation is through the amends process. So you've already repented, which is fabulous. And you know that repentance is then also turning around from the old behavior and learning new ways of treating people. I'd also have you alert your family. I'm afraid I'm going to hurt you all. That's why I'm not talking with you. It's why I'm not around you. But I want to learn how to do this differently. So would you gently warn me if I do start to hurt you, because I'm trying to learn to do this differently?
Thank you so much for calling in today, Sherry. We're going to send you a registration for our upcoming depression webinar. It's called Break Free from Depression, Tools to Reclaim Your Life. It is on January 15th. It is hosted by the president of New Life Ministries, Becky Brown, and it's presented by Dr. Jackie Mack Harris, a licensed marriage and family therapist. You know Becky and Jackie from New Life Live. You hear them often here on this show, and they're going to be hosting this on January 15th. As you heard with Sherry, depression can leave you feeling isolated, exhausted, and unsure where to turn, but help is available at this Zoom webinar. It's $24.99. It's online. It's faith-based. It's a practical event that will give you real tools, biblical encouragement, and hope for the journey ahead. Find out more at newlife.com or by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now let's talk to Julie in Cleveland, who's listening on newlife.com. Hi there, Julie. Welcome to the program.
Hi, thank you.
Yeah, how can we help you?
I had a question about blessings. So God's blessings when we are asking for something or needing help, resources, and then I've experienced where a blessing will come in beautiful and profound ways, almost exactly, and if not more, what you needed. And then maybe the why of sometimes experiencing not receiving or accepting the blessing, almost turning around and going the other way, and then it not being there available any longer, and then, of course, being frustrated that you didn't choose what you were needing and God provided. I didn't know if there was any insight or psychology around that.
So is this something that you're going through right now? Are you hoping to receive a blessing from the Lord and you feel like you're not getting one?
No, more that I've received beautiful, big things, but then not, for some reason, not able to hold it or step into it.
Julie, I think you're describing the very brokenness of humanity and the story of Israel. I think we are all fools in this way, me too, where we're scared, we're limited, we're frightened, and it's hard for us to accept the good thing that God is giving to us. So I want you to know I don't think this is just you. I think this is humanity. It's a very odd struggle that we have. In order for us to answer your question, it would help to know a specific. What was a blessing you didn't accept and then you lost your chance to have it?
There's a lot of examples, but even just people coming into your life or opportunities, jobs, offer on a condo for sale, that are very easy and seem like they don't take any effort and would be just like the perfect solution, and then not choosing it.
Do you find that you are indecisive? Do you second guess yourself? And do you have fears about the future if you make the wrong decision?
Yes.
And what about your childhood might have produced that fearful style?
Good question. Probably like perfectionist and overly critical environments. And maybe not knowing, emotionally, like not knowing what's going to come up in the room.
Julie, that perfectionist was the last word I wrote down on my paper here. Are you a perfectionist?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all you're going to say, Mark?
Well, we're about to run out of time here. Yes. I thought you were going to jump in and say we're going to a break.
Yeah, but it was
and
just
we'll be right back with you, Julie.
Like you were about to just like...
The cliffhanger.
Yes,
the cliffhanger.
that's okay. Right. No, that's good because it'll keep people tuned in to hear Mark's response to Julie and to everyone else who's calling in. We've got Liz and Amber on the phone and a lot of other calls coming in too at 1-800-229-3000. When you call us with questions, we're going to ask you questions too. Like right now when Alice asked Julie something and Julie was like, yeah, that's a good question. So be prepared for that when you call in to New Life Live at 1-800-229-3000.
Here at New Life, we want you to have transformation. And so we have created the New Life courses, and you meet weekly on Zoom with a coach or counselor. You're going to have teaching as well as that group connection because we know how powerful that is. We hear that all the time about our intensives, that they love the information, but the group process is so powerful. And many of you have been hesitant to participate because you're not sure, the timing, the price. New Life courses are going to meet you right at that area of need. Every week you're meeting on Zoom with that therapist. You're going over the concepts as well as connecting as a group. It is so powerful and it's accessible. Wherever you are, you're going to be able to join us.
Begin your transformation January 29th with a New Life course. Lose it for life, take your life back, or healing is a choice. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Do you need help for life's hard situations?
My husband recently said he wanted a divorce.
I'm confused on what I should do.
I have an eating disorder.
New Life Live answers your questions on relationships, grief, addiction, trauma, anxiety, and much more, all from a biblical perspective with our panel of professional counselors and psychologists.
I learn a lot from your program.
You help so many people.
I appreciate your ministry.
Whether you listen or watch, there are so many ways to connect with us to ask our panel of counselors a question. Call us Monday through Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific at 1-800-229-3000 to ask your question on New Life Live. Or go to newlife.com/radio for other ways to get your question answered.
I'm trying to find help.
I just want to know how to set boundaries.
If it's a sin, what am I supposed to do?
Need a therapist or a coach, a resource, or an intensive? Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
All right, Marc Cameron, what were you going to tell Julie? We've been waiting.
Oh, Julie, when Alice asked you that about just kind of the ups and downs of life, that's what I was thinking here, is that you're just describing the ups and downs of life. We have a lot of opportunity in life, and sometimes things go our way, and sometimes they don't go our way. And of course, I understand as Christians, we ask God for blessing or insight or support. But part of life, too, is growing. And growth happens in disappointment. Growth happens in getting things wrong. That's a big part of how we learn and grow in life. Now, I wondered if you were perfectionistic because you were talking about things just kind of being so easy and no effort at all. And that's, perfectionism is linked to anxiety. And, it really plays out in idealism. And idealism is actually a defense mechanism against pain, because if life is ideal, guess what? Life is pain-free, and we don't have to face the pain of disappointment. And now, growing up, it sounded like you also had an idealistic parent, a perfectionist parent who had very high standards for you. Is that true? Is that what you're explaining to us?
Yes.
Yeah, who was that?
And Dad. But I can see where it's his trauma from his generational upbringing, and he's just carrying. He doesn't know that's he's just carrying it out. And in our society, doing things really perfect and well can seem like a really good thing when it's kind of dysfunctional.
Well, it is a good thing, but it's also impossible to be perfect. And so it's good for us to have high standards, but when we have perfect standards, we're going to miss them a vast majority of the time because it's impossible to be perfect. And so a healthy person is able to integrate. They're able to have standards that they reach for, and not settle for the lowest thing, but they're also able to bounce back through disappointments when things don't go their way. And so it seems like you've developed a lot of anxiety from your dad having such high standards, or maybe even perfect standards for you, that he really set you up for failure in the sense that you weren't going to meet perfect standards. There may be times that you did get the A's or did do things in the ways that he wanted them done. But he's really set you up for trying to achieve to a standard that you can't. And that creates a lot of anxiety in your life. Is that true?
Really good. Yeah, I worked really good for about 40 years of doing things perfect. But then I went through a significant health challenge with Lyme and mold. And so cognitively, you couldn't do things perfect. Literally, it was impossible. And then there was a lot of criticism.
Criticism from him or from yourself?
Both.
Yeah. So part of your healing is going to be learning to let go of that standard and release that. Are you in therapy right now?
I've done a lot of therapy before, and I recognize not being able to do things maybe quite like you could. But then, like I mentioned, then I would have these profound, to where I couldn't do it myself, so I had to rely on my faith. And so then something so meant for me would come in to my experience that was just what I needed. But I don't know if it was cognitive. I don't know, then very soon after, it's like I didn't choose it.
Yes.
Which didn't make sense.
Well, so now might be a good time to jump back into therapy. And you may have processed through some of these things, but learning to process through these things, and then also have a therapist who can challenge you maybe to do some behavior experiments, and help you learn how to accept disappointment, or to just to be able to manage it well, and to give yourself realistic standards.
Julie, I hear that you self-sabotage and sabotage the blessings you see God laying before you. And I suspect that it would help you to grow in being more vulnerable with more people frequently, but especially when you have a decision to make, because I think your own fear and the critical voice in your head, partly your dad's voice, I think it stops you, and then you miss out on these opportunities. It really helped me, Julie, as in my own fear of making mistakes, when I learned the Bible verse that God will work all things out for the good for those who trust in him. And that gave me a freedom to make mistakes if I'm doing my best, if I'm trying to discern God's will, but that even my mistakes, he'll use them for good. And that helped me unfreeze. You and I think we need to grow in being risk takers, because we're so afraid of making a mistake. We're so afraid of it being the wrong decision. And we become better risk takers when we have good people around us who support us, love us, encourage, cheerlead, but also warn us when they think we're going astray. And having that more balanced voice could help replace your dad's voice and your own critical voice in your head. And so if you go back into therapy, I would suggest that you do more confession of the ugly things you felt towards your dad and his standards. And if you work on the process of forgiving him and asking God's help in forgiving him, even if you've done that before, we usually need to repeat those processes.
Julie, I think we're going to send you a copy of Marc Cameron's book, Understanding Your Attachment Style. I'm holding my personal copy in my hand. I started reading it a few days ago, Marc. I have already taken so many notes. I'll show you in case you just think I'm saying that. Look, right here, all these underlined.
You have, it's
all
true.
Throughout. Yes, yes. You know what I noticed too? The acronym for this book, Understanding Your Attachment Style, UYAS. It's because as you're reading this book, at least for me, I'm thinking, ooh, yes! That is so good. UYAS. See what I did there? Ooh, yes! So anyway, you've got to get a copy of this book. Julie, we're going to send you one just for calling us today here on New Life Live. 1-800-229-3000. We'll be back.
We've been married 33 years. We attended the Intimacy and Marriage Workshop. Even though we've read books or attended a few other marriage weekends, this was certainly different and a lot more intensive than initially that we thought.
When you come to Intimacy and Marriage, you're going to be immersed into a 3-day process.
Was not really sure exactly what to expect, but the idea of learning to really understand intimacy was intriguing. We had been in the same patterns of struggle over and over again.
If you've thought, I don't think we can ever change, we're just in this rut and we can't get out, the Intimacy and Marriage Workshop can help you get out of the rut.
The Intimacy and Marriage Weekend is February 13th to the 15th in Orange County, California. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the code NLL for a discount. 1-800-639-5433.
I would highly recommend it.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 Steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
As we approach the end of the year, your gift before December 31st is so important for setting the plan for all ministry activity in 2026. Did you know that 20% of all donations will come in the last 2 weeks of the year? Your gift is so needed, and it makes a difference in what we do and in how many people we reach. Please consider mailing a gift that is postmarked by December 31st. You can find our P.O. Box information on the footer at newlife.com. Of course, you can also give online there at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or text NLM, as in New Life Ministries, to 28950. If you want to talk to Marc and Dr. Alice today, call in 1-800-229-3000. Let us go to...
Can I make one other quick comment?
Sure.
I do think it's good to consider whether or not spiritual warfare is a part of us missing out on God's blessing or plan, because the enemy wants to kill, steal, and destroy, and he wants to blind us to what God is doing. So praying against the enemy and staying firmly in relationship with God and other Christian people can enable us to better see and then accept the blessing God's sending our way.
All right, let's talk to Liz in Los Angeles, listening on KKLA. And Liz is a Club New Life member. Thank you, Liz, for supporting us here at New Life Live, New Life Ministries. How can we help you?
Hi, thank you so much for taking my call. I listen to you guys all the time. I've been doing so for years. The reason I'm calling is because I just realized that I have an anxious attachment style. I raised my kids already. They're young adults. I want to date. I've been divorced since they were little, so I raised them on my own. And I started dating. I put myself on apps, so I am dating. I've been talking to this gentleman for 2 years. Really, really like him. We connect very well. However, my attachment, the anxiety kicks in and it runs the show. And I I want to just quit. I want to stop dating because it's too scary for me. But I don't want to be alone. I want to date. I want to eventually get married again and meet my Boaz. But I get scared, and I, like, even phone calls, like if I don't hear from him by a certain time, I start, you can already hear the anxiety in my voice. So, yeah.
Does he want to move forward with you, Liz? You've been dating him for 2 years. Okay.
No, we haven't been dating for 2 years. We've been talking for 2 years. But just this year, like, our feelings came out that we do like each other. We're trying to work on our own issues. That's where it's at. But I get very triggered all the time.
Have you guys already met in person, or is this like a long distance thing or anything like that?
No. Yes, we've met in person. Yes. But it's just a friendship right now. That's just where it's been, you know.
And Liz, are the triggers things that remind you of hurt in other relationships, like with your ex-husband?
I think a lot of them, it's just fear of abandonment and being cheated on, you know. I grew up with that. Like, my dad was a womanizer. He cheated on my mom. And so I just always had this fear that I'm not good enough. And you know what? I'm very good enough. I've just learned. Like, I have so much to offer, but I shut down.
And was your husband also unfaithful?
He was towards the end. He was a drug addict. So, yeah. So there was no emotional attachment. He couldn't give me that, you know? And that's what I've always been attracted to, men who have not been emotionally available. So this gentleman I am talking to that I really feel like I love, we connect very well, but I don't know if this is my trauma bonding, because he does have his own battles that he's fighting, that he's dealing with.
Are you seeing some red flags of substance use or infidelity issues, pornography use?
No, but he was, there is like a addiction. And so that also already has me triggered.
What addiction?
It was to meth.
Wow.
Is he in recovery?
Yes, he is. He's actually, this is another situation. He's actually in a rehab right now.
So he's early in recovery.
Yes.
So I think there are two sides to your anxiety, and one is historical, perhaps somewhat unrelated to this current man you're dating, and you may not have healed enough from the injuries from your dad and your ex-husband. But another part of your fear is a very wise fear, because you know that this man doesn't have enough stability yet in his own sobriety, in his own recovery. So your fear is not all the problem. Part of it is good, and you should listen to it and be cautious about entering into deep relationship with this man at this point in his recovery. That might be hard for you to hear. How are you taking that from me?
I understand. I know that, but try telling my heart that I already feel like I love him, but I think that's just the trauma bonding.
I wonder if you have enough women in your life with whom you're being regularly very open and honest. I think it was a little hard to tell us that he has used meth and is in rehab. You honestly, bravely did it, but it was a little hard to tell. Of course, you don't lead with that information, but you need a sisterhood around you who know intimately what's going on. And they know the last time he used meth and how long he's used meth and what he's done in his use of it. Other women need to know all those gory details so that they can help you make wise decisions when to listen to your fear and when to push past and overcome your fear.
Do you have a support system like that?
I do. I have 2 women. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Liz. So anxious, attachment is rated on a spectrum, and anxious attachment has 2 ends to it. There's an anxious style that is very fearful and results in a people pleaser type person. And then there's an anxious resistant style. And I think that's the style that you have. And that style vacillates between what they want, and they really do a push-pull. So that's what I'm hearing between with what you're saying, I mean, as Alice is saying, there's an appropriate caution that part of your brain is telling you, like, oh, hold on, this person's not quite secure in their own self, and there's addiction going on, and I don't want to end up back in that trap. And then there's the other part of you that says, but I don't know if I can let him go because of my fears of abandonment. Now, fear isn't a great decision maker for us. And so, I think you know that. I think you know that you'll hold it, that it's that fear of abandonment that's keeping you in this relationship, but that's just going to keep you stuck. So there's an option here, and the option is learning to heal. So the good news about attachment research is that we don't have to remain this way. We can actually heal, and we do that in two ways. One, we need to make sense of our experience to understand how we develop these anxieties or this avoidance, whichever one it is. But then it's not enough just to know how we are. We actually have to do work. So we actually have to lean into what we know the healthy thing to do is, and that's where the difficulty occurs, because there's going to be pain and discomfort that way. But there's pain and discomfort either way. But the choice to heal actually leads to freedom. And so if you're not in, Alice is recommending surrounding yourself with a community of women who can hold you accountable and help you make some good choices. But it's also good, I think, to get in with a therapist too at this point, so that person can help you work through some of the traumas that you've been through and appropriately challenge you in the ways I think that you know that you need to. There's certain decisions I think that you know that you need to make. You're just too fearful to do it.
Yes. So do you have any attachment style therapists that work with relational trauma?
We do. We have a whole network. And if you hold on the phone, we will connect you with someone in your area.
I would appreciate that. God bless you. Thank you so much.
We've got so many therapists that you can choose, because we're going to give you, a few of them. Yeah, especially in the Los Angeles area. Yeah, I'm sure there will be several. Alice, did you have another thought?
Our Restore Intensive would also be very fitting for you because of what you went through in betrayal and past relationships. And that's happening next March 6th in Dallas.
Yeah, the Restore Healing After Betrayal Intensive is it's really good, Liz. So we're going to let you know about that. It's also on our website, newlife.com, or you can call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and get all the details about it. But if you'll stay on hold, Liz, we'll send you a copy of Marc's book as well. It's called Understanding Your Attachment Style, or as I like to call it, ooh, yes, because you're going to get so much information from this book. You might need to get a new pen because you're going to run out of ink just underlining so much and highlighting and everything else. So get this book. It's on the newlife.com store, and it's also going to be sent to you, Liz, just for calling in today to New Life Live. 1-800-229-3000 is our number, and we're going to be in the studio for another hour after this hour is done, so keep those calls coming. I see Amber and Darlene coming up, and other calls coming into 1-800-229-3000. We can't wait to hear from you so that you can start 2026 on the right foot. So call in, 1-800-229-3000. Brian Perez here with Marc Cameron and Dr. Alice Benton. We'll be right back.
Hi, Dr. John Townsend here. Resolutions are easy. Education is lasting. If you're ready for a practical next step in your career, the Townsend Institute at Concordia University, Irvine offers accredited online programs in counseling, leadership, executive coaching, and consulting, from certificates to master's and PhD programs, so you can build credentials while you work. Our spring 2026 semester kicks off in February with courses designed for busy work and family schedules. So take one clear step. Join our online information night, Townsend Institute Live, on Wednesday, January 14th. You'll interact with faculty, staff, and alumni. You'll get answers about our degree programs, and you'll enjoy a waived application fee just for attending. So register today at cui.edu/Townsend. Start the year moving toward the callings you were given.
For over 35 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addiction, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
I found a counselor through New Life Ministries, and it's just been outstanding.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first steps toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door for a better tomorrow.
To get someone that's competent, that's good at what they do, it's been like day and night compared to what I've had before.
Call 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
So at the beginning of the program, we had an early visit from 2026, and we told it to go back for 3 more days. But you know what I noticed? 2026 looks so fresh and exciting and new. So take advantage of that. Get rid of your 2025 issues by calling us today. We're going to be here for another hour at 1-800-229-3000. Let's go back to the phones. Here is Amber calling us from Dallas, listening on KWRD. Welcome, Amber, to New Life Live.
Well, thank you so much for taking my call. I just want to say I'm a monthly supporter, and everybody listening, if you've been blessed by this show, you need to support them monthly. So,
Amber, say that again for those in the back who may not have heard you.
Okay, New Life Live is the best. And, I don't make a lot of money, but I do a little bit every month, and everybody can do something. Like I said, if you've been blessed, support them.
God bless you, Amber. Wow, that was great. How can we help you today?
Well, I had a situation that happened over the holiday, but just a little background. My dad died 5 years ago, and I've been helping my stepmom out for years, and because I live pretty close, or I was, and then my sister, right after my dad passed away, she showed up with her youngest, who had got on some bad drugs. She had found him, by the grace of God, on the streets in a different state and brought him back home, but brought him to my stepmom's house and to stay there because he was just all over the place. She couldn't take him home because my other nephew, her other son and daughter-in-law, and their kids live with her, and there's issues there, so she couldn't bring him there. So anyway, he lived there for 3.5 years, got a little bit better, but I knew he was bipolar, and she finally admitted to that he is bipolar. But, he was messy, he left things, it was just, just a bad situation. He wouldn't keep a job, wouldn't get on medication. Anyway, about a year ago, I was visiting with my grandbaby, and my stepmother said, I think he moved his girlfriend in. And I said, excuse me? So I went and looked. Sure enough, her stuff was there. Ooh. So I texted him, and I told him, you get her, we're nice church people. We don't do this. So she needs to leave right away. Well, a couple of days later, they eloped. They moved into a luxury apartment, and he hasn't kept a job. They only knew each other for 3 months. So he's bipolar, and then we found out after they got married that she had been hospitalized for a few years for depression a couple years ago during her teens. They're not very old, she isn't. And so my sister's been helping. My sister lost her husband a year ago, and so she's been helping paying their rent. Well, their lease is up, and so they wanted to move in here. And I'm like, no way. I said, we can't deal with that. And so we had a family meeting with her family, and they're professionals. I just work hourly, but, her family, her dad's a banker and her mom's a teacher. Mm-hmm. And we had a family meeting. I thought, okay, we're going to come up with a contract, that their responsibilities to get into counseling on medication, da-da-da-da. We'll come to find out her family will take her back, but not him. Mm. And so over the holidays, my nephew called my stepmother crying, saying they're breaking us up. We want to be together. We love each other. Da da da.
So what's your main
she felt
question for
bad.
us?
Well, she agreed to 2 months. I did a contract, but they haven't signed it, and they moved in while I was at work. And my stepmother's thinking they're going to be there for 2 months. Well, they didn't sign a contract. My sister came up with another contract saying that they can live there open-ended, and she's pregnant, and so she's about to have a baby in a few months. And so it's like all of a sudden we're dealt with, a woman who's depressed, who's pregnant, a bipolar, and a 86-year-old stepmother.
And this is tough because your stepmother has accepted, at least partially. She may not be okay with the open-ended, but she's already accepted them into her home. You don't live in her home, but you live close. Is that right?
No, I moved in a year ago because she lost her daughter, and she was so devastated. Her health was going downhill, and she said, I can't take care of myself anymore. I think I'm going to have to go to a nursing home. I said, no, I'll move in. So when my nephew moved out and they eloped, I moved in, and I've been, taking care of stuff, and her, health just improved so much after I started bringing my grandbaby over.
So you've been taking good care of her, but you're worried that there's chaos now invited into the home. As we're coming towards the end of our program, how can we help you today? What's your question for us?
Well, do I just shut up? She thought, she's like, it's my home. I don't want a couple broken up. And I'm like, okay, but then she thought it was just 2 months, and she won't stand up for herself. Am I supposed to stand up for her, or do I just shut up and just let? They brought all their stuff in. I couldn't even have my Christmas together with my family because they brought all their stuff, and it's all over the house.
It's getting real messy already. I think you need to have that conversation with your stepmother to find out what she's okay with and what she's not okay with. And then the really difficult part will be accepting that she's allowing these people into her home, and she still has a right to do so if you think she's of sound mind. And so then it's your work to determine, do you want to stay in this home, as they will be allowed here at least for 2 months. And you can wait it out. Maybe at the end of 2 months they leave, but probably not. They're probably going to try to stay. That's my gut instinct. And so what will you do to protect yourself, and what will you decide about your own living environment? Maybe having to be separate from your stepmom because she gets to choose this. But lastly, if you don't think she's of sound mind, or you think she's being taken advantage of, then Adult Protective Services may need to be called to evaluate the situation, because they may take advantage of her. I think it's likely, in fact.
I think what I heard you say, Amber, is that your stepmom agreed to 2 months, but then your sister gave them an open-ended contract. So I agree with Alice here. I think I would have that separate conversation with her without anyone else. And yeah, she is 86 years old, and so she probably has reached that point where it's difficult for her to push back. And so I think if she doesn't want them living there after a certain period, I do think it's healthy and appropriate that you stand in the gap for her, and you be that voice. And obviously it's going to be easy if you can get your sister on board with this too, but it does sound like they're taking advantage, and sadly they're in chaos. They're married, but they can't take care of themselves. So how are they going to be able to take care of a baby? And sometimes our recovery happens when we go through pain. And it sounds like both of them need to do some of their recovery work, and that may be best done separately. So I can understand why her parents might have said, we'll take our daughter back, but we're not willing for the husband to move in right now. And that may be what they need. But yeah, I would stand in the gap if that's what she wants.
We could connect you with an interventionist who helps set up these difficult conversations, the expectations, and then helps you hold to the boundaries. If they won't leave after 2 months, then what will you do? And our interventionist is great with helping with that.
Thank you so much, Amber, for calling in today to New Life Live. We're going to send you a copy of Boundaries from the newlife.com store. We appreciate your phone call, and we are just about out of time for this hour. but we still have calls on hold. I'm so thankful that we are here in the studio for another hour today. So Darlene and Veronica, Sharon, everyone else that's on hold right now, stay on hold. And we've got some open phone lines as well, so you can call in during this next hour. 1-800-229-3000 is our number. Thank you so much for listening today and for watching us and for telling your friends about us. It's so neat when we get phone calls from people and we ask them, so how did you find out about New Life Live? And they say, well, yeah, my friend told me, my family member told me. You know, that's so good to get the word out about what we do, because there are some really hurting people out there who need healing, and we can show them that healing. We can give them that healing that Jesus provides when they get in contact with us here at New Life Live. So give us a call. 1-800-229-3000 is our number, and we will talk to you next time here on New Life Live.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.